Hey, it's me, SB. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, we are going to be making a sun hat. And the yarn that I am using is this Lily Sugar and Cream in Rose Tea. And I am using an E or a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. You're also going to need a measuring tape, a stitch marker, and some scissors, and a tapestry needle as usual. Optional, you can have some millinery wire, and this is just for the edge of the brim to keep its shape. It is optional, you really don't need it, but I would suggest it if you want your brim to stay upright. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. So like with anything of this nature, we're going to start with a magic circle or an adjustable ring and place 6 single crochets. Close the ring, and we are going to be working in spirals, so place your stitch marker in the first stitch. Next, we are going to be making a flat circle. So if you're familiar with this, just go ahead and work up a flat circle up to 96 stitches. If you are not familiar with making a flat circle, I will place some basic instructions up on the screen. Otherwise, check the description below. I do have a link to my written pattern where I write out all of the instructions for you. As I mentioned earlier, you should increase to a total stitch count of 96. You should end with a 14 single crochet and increase, and you would repeat that around 6 times because we are increasing a total of 6 stitches every round. So the diameter of my crown piece is 7 inches, and that's just what I had. So the next step is to create the hat, I don't know what you call it, the hat bucket, the body of the hat. And all we're going to do is we are going to simply single crochet for 13 rounds with no increases. So what do you think about this new style with the scrolling text on top? I thought it would be interesting to try it. I'm not sure if it's going to stick around. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about this style, or would you prefer to have something that was static on the screen? So now for this next round, we are going to just work through the front loop only. And this is what's going to help the brim take the shape. Okay, so it's time to start working the brim, and that means a lot of increases. So our first increase round for the brim, we are going to do 10 single crochets and increase, and we are going to repeat that 8 times around, ending with a 7 single crochet increase, which will bring our stitch count up to 105 stitches. So for this next round, we are simply going to single crochet with no increases. Okay, for our next increase round, we are going to do 20 single crochets and increase, and we are going to repeat that around 5 times, and you should end with 110 stitches. Okay, for our next round, we are going to simply single crochet around for 110 stitches with no increases. The next increase round is going to be 10 single crochet and increase, and you are going to repeat that 10 times around for a total of 120 stitches. If you find that your hat is curling really bad, just give it a good stretch and it'll relax those stitches. It's only because we're working kind of tightly because we want our hat to be stiff and maintain its shape. For the next 2 rounds, we are simply going to single crochet every stitch for a total of 120 stitches. Okay, for the next round, we are going to increase again, and we are going to do 11 single crochet and increase, and we're going to repeat this around for 10 times, and this is going to give us 130 stitches. The next round will also be an increase round, and that round will have 12 single crochet increase, repeating 10 times around, and we are going to then do 1 round of single crochet, and we are going to repeat our pattern where we are going to do 2 rounds of increases, 1 round of no increases. So that is going to be your repeat pattern. I think you can kind of discern how it's going to work. Like I said earlier, I do have a written pattern where every step is written out for you. If you prefer that, it is going to be in the description box below. I will put some basic instructions up on the screen for you if you don't want to do that. So yeah, just continue on until you reach 220 stitches, and I'll meet you back here. So I really enjoyed making this. This is the first hat that I've ever crocheted. I mean, I've made beanies, I've made, stuff like that, but never an actual like hat like this. So it was an interesting experience. I did create this pattern myself without looking at anybody else's design or anything. I just kind of went for it. And yeah, it was a process because I messed up a lot, like on the counts and everything. I used a website to find out how to increase evenly, and I don't know, I guess my brain cannot wrap around the way it was worded, and I totally messed up. But that's okay. I mean, we got there in the end, didn't we? I hope that you enjoy making this as much as I do. And yeah. Alright, so when you're working your 2 rounds of increases, be sure on one round to move where your increase is. And this is just going to give it like an aesthetically pleasing look. You don't have to do this. You can just, continue on in the usual method. But I prefer to do this because it does make it look a little cleaner and a little nicer. Alright, so I finished all of the brim rounds, and now it's time to add the wire. Now, let me tell you, I bought 2 yards of this wire, and I should have bought a smaller gauge. I wasn't paying attention. I think this is like a 16 gauge wire, so it's really, really stiff, and I had a lot of trouble working with it, but I did get it to work in the end. I did not film that whole process because it was very difficult for me to actually film it in this method right here from the top down, and I really didn't have another setup where you guys could actually see what I was doing. But basically all I did was I straightened out the wire, and then, or not straightened out, but I shaped it and measured it around, leaving about maybe half an inch on either end so that way you could overlap it and tape them together. I did wind up untaping them after I taped it and then retaping it because I kind of messed up on the sizing because I didn't realize I had made it just a little bit too big, so I had to go back and readjust. But as you see here, that's what I'm doing. I'm just attempting to get it all nice and measured out. And then I cut it with some wire cutters and I used some medical tape. It's like a paper tape, I think is what they call it. But I used that and it worked pretty well. I would suggest that if you're going to tape them together, you're not going to be able to throw this into the washer and wash it simply because of the wire. It's gonna it's not gonna wash up very well, so you're gonna have to spot wash or hand wash it and then allow it to dry. But anyways, so that's a different story. So yeah, I wound up having to switch to a larger crochet hook for this because the wire made it super thick and my little tiny crochet hook wasn't handling it. But I did eventually get it done. It was a process, let me tell you. But I think it was well worth it. It came out so cute. I was like surprised at how good it actually came out. But like I said earlier in the video, this is an optional step. You don't have to add wire to it, but I think it just gives it that look, that feel. It looks really cute. I don't know, it gives it like a vintagey look to it instead of that floppiness. I really don't like it whenever a hat is super floppy and I'm trying to do stuff, and like work in the yard or something, and it's like flopping around in my eyes and it just gets so annoying. You can add some elastic. This was just like an afterthought, so I would suggest that you add the elastic before adding the wire just to make it a little easier. And the reason why I thought about the elastic was for keeping it on my head correctly, because it does stretch out a little bit and cotton doesn't really bounce back. It likes to stay stretched once it's stretched. So I thought, hey, add some elastic to the inside, help keep it on my head when it's crazy windy, which is all the time in my area. And yeah, so this is all I'm doing. I will be back whenever I start putting the elastic on the brim. Whew, man. Okay, that was a process getting the wire on there, but I did, as you can see, it is very, very stiff, And it actually looks pretty nice. I'll insert a picture somewhere so that way you can see what it looks like whenever I'm wearing it. I'm simply going to just put this around my head and kind of stretch it out a little bit, just enough to where it's going to grip, but not too much that it's not going to work very well. And let's get you a measurement here. This might be, yeah, about 17 inches. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it and I'm going to sew up right here. So that way it is a circle, and then I'm going to attach it right here by stretching it out. Alternatively, we could just attach it here, go around stretching it out as we go. But since I just want to try to keep it as simple as possible, all I'm using is some embroidery thread that I have. Alright, so all I'm doing here is I am sewing up the two ends together about maybe half an inch away from the end. And all I'm using here, I think I said it earlier, what is some embroidery thread. And I am just going to attach it there where we ended our brim row through the front loop. And I'm just going to clip everything together here. This is why it's probably better to do this before you add the wire to the brim, because it just makes it a little easier to adjust and to see where your elastic actually needs to go. So yeah, take your time on this. All I am doing is a whip stitch, and here you go. Now you can see it just a little better. And yeah, I'm just going to go through each stitch here. And just to make it a little quicker and easier, tightening each stitch up as I go, making my way all the way around. It's pretty easy. You're definitely going to need a lot of different skills to make this hat, but it, I think, is definitely worth it because now it actually stays on my head without flying off. And we're done! Look at this! Oh my god! So we've got it all nice and set up. Once you do get the wire in there, it is going to take a little bit of time to kind of get the shape right, but it came out so good. I actually am so glad that I put the elastic in, because now it's like, it's tight, but it's not too tight. It might actually fly off, but it's tight enough to where it's not gonna be too bad. You see that? I love the way it came out. It came out so good. Like, if I didn't have my hair up, let me see, it'd probably look even better. Let me adjust here. There we go. So yeah, oh yeah, the fit is much better like that without my hair up, because it can actually sit where I want it to sit. And there it is. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you to do something similar. Let me know what colors you are going to make in the description box below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye!